What's up guys, welcome back to WTFranco. If this is your first time watching this video, this is my beautiful wife Alejandra and I'm Said and we're the Francos.
Today we want to share with you guys the story of how we met. So how did we meet?
It was a magical evening. I remember that the sun was setting and the wind was blowing your hair. Okay, here comes the real truth.
So we met at church. We used to go to the same church. We both served at that church. He served on the TV media team and I served on the kids team. So I remember that, as per usual, I looked upset. And when we bumped into each other, he just looked at me and he said, "Are you okay?"
I was worried.
My response was, "Yeah, I'm just hungry."
It was our first time talking and she said that.
And then he nodded and walked away. And that was the first time I had ever seen him. And I remember as he was walking away, I was like,
yeah, before I had this dad bod. She didn't know that time, but I'm like super introverted, like being in front of you guys, like it makes me really nervous. So for her, my personality came off as me being arrogant and standoff, which is not true.
And because I thought he was arrogant, me being who I be, just didn't even try to talk to him. So then he thought that I was rude.
She was.
I kind of am a little bit. Hashtag work in progress.
But thank God he always has a good plan for us. And that's why a year after I moved to the house of one of her good friends.
Shout out to Law. And because of the circumstances, we started hanging out a lot more and in a much more intimate setting, because it usually was me coming over to their apartment with maybe 3 or 4 other friends. So it was a much smaller setting where we really got to know each other on a deeper level, as opposed to seeing each other at like big birthday parties or get-togethers.
And then me being an introvert, I was able to observe her and the way that she would be acting, the way that she would be talking about different subjects that it mattered to me. And yeah, it was that moment, those nights were the ones that God used to open our eyes, right?
He opened your eyes.
He really did. We started hanging out for around 3 months. And at that point, she didn't know that I liked her and vice versa.
And I think that really took the pressure off of how we interacted with each other, because I thought that he only saw me as a friend and he thought that I only saw him as a friend. So neither of us was really acting or trying to put up this front of something that we really weren't, because we didn't think that this was going anywhere other than a friendship.
So after those few months of being friends, I made the decision that she didn't know that I was gonna marry her. But first I had to ask her out.
After our first date, we went on 3 more dates in like the same week. And on the 4th date, he asked me to be his girlfriend.
Yeah, you just have to go for it. But also to keep in mind that during those 4 dates, like we were as a church having a fast. So we were super intentional in our prayer about each other, and we were asking for confirmations to know like if that person really is who God has sent for us.
And after our first date, when he dropped me off, before I got out of the car, he was super intentional, and I remember he looked me in the eyes and he basically just told me that he saw me as a beautiful daughter of God and that he wanted to treat me like a princess and that he didn't want to play with my heart, and he let me know what his intentions and what his feelings were. And I also let him know my feelings and what I wanted out of this courtship, I guess you could say, because I know that really made the difference for us. And I know it may sound so crazy, like after 4 dates you guys became a couple, and we did.
Yeah, we were having conversations that for some people are like too much to have at the beginning of a relationship, but everyone's different. Like we're different, but the way that it works for us is that why do I want to be with someone 7 months and barely ask one tough question?
That's real.
Like
that's
I'm
real.
just wasting her time and I'm wasting my time.
So we were acquaintances for about a year, and then we became friends, and that lasted around 2 months and a half, 3 months. We became boyfriend and girlfriend, and then 2 months later we were engaged, and 5 months later we were married.
And then 9 months later we had Santiago, and 2 years later we had Soleil.
And now we're complete.
That's it, and we're the Francos.
Basically, that's the short condensed version of our love story, which is my favorite love story.
Mine too.
Love you. So we briefly mentioned that we were super intentional when we were dating, and we feel like that's a whole video on its own. So our next video is going to be completely dedicated to our top questions, in our opinion, to ask while you're dating, to know if that person is the one or not.
Or if you should run. And if you guys liked our love story, remember that you can like this video.
And subscribe, and subscribe, and subscribe. Thanks again for watching, guys. See you later.